Testing, y'all. I'm testing, trying to see. Can you hear the audio? If you can hear the audio, you can hear the audio. Give me some thumbs up. Of course, I got to be able to see the thumbs up. Y'all got to give me a minute. I got to find them. Yep. We got to get it figured out, y'all. We're going to get it figured out. First time doing this. So we got to get it figured out, y'all. Oh, there's the sound. Okay. It's working now. Now it's working after all of that. Okay. Now we in the game. We back in the game, y'all. We back in the game. The Black Factor on the move is back. We're back. Now, I guess I'm gonna have to redo all of that I just did. All right, so y'all, check this out. This is a new phone, so I gotta learn how to use this thing. So, I suppose that was my fault. My fault, my bad, my bad. So look, I'm gonna back up and I'm gonna start over because I got a lot that I want y'all to hear. So, like I said, always don't forget to hit the follow, share, like, subscribe buttons. Don't forget about downloading the app. My man DJ Shorty Smooth, super catalytic, extra fragilistic, espialidocious. You know what I'm saying? He got that fantastic, super elastic, bubble plastic radio station. Oh, so smooth. Y'all got to download the app and kick it with him. You know what I'm saying? The music never stops. Hey, look, he got that good music. He ain't got that garbage, like everybody else be playing. So, uh, anyway, so look, y'all, I went to Chicago, right? That's why I'm headed back. I'm headed back to Texas right now. I'm rolling. We out here. Black Factor on the move. I like to be consistent. So if I can be consistent, then that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm trying to be consistent so that y'all don't get discouraged when I'm not on the show because I had to cancel that show on last Wednesday. I ain't like that at all. So I'm traveling, headed back to Texas, going down 30, headed west. So we westbound and down, loaded up and trucking. I'm gonna do what they say can't be done. And what is that? Well, most folks have to take a break on these type of trips. This one is a 17-hour run, and let me see, I think according to my GPS, I got about 7 more hours, and I'll be back in San Antonio, back at the crib, back at the ranch. Because let me tell y'all, Chicago was an experience this time. I don't know if it was me or because of things have changed. Chicago, wild, man. So let me tell y'all this little story. I go to this little hole in the wall, which is about 100 steps from my front door. Because I figured I'm bored. I want to sleep real good. I'm going to have a few beers that'll put me to sleep. So I walk up out of there. I figure, yeah, I'm going to sneak around the corner, right, and dip back before anybody know anything. Well, when I pulled out the club, and don't get it twisted, I had my mask on. Wasn't that many people in there. And I lift my mask and drink my beer and let it slide back down. So just so y'all know. Anyway, pull out the club. Man, there's squad cars everywhere. They got a whole block blocked off. It's yellow tape, red tape, squad cars, detectives. Everybody was out there. So I had to dip back and cut down the alley so that I could get to the house. And I had to be within the crime scene to get home. So I did that. I dipped in and backed up to the house. But I went on and videotaped a little bit. If y'all saw that videotape, I didn't have the audio on because I was on the phone with my wife. Y'all have to forgive me. I didn't know that the audio wouldn't work on the video when you're on the phone. Anyway, so it turns out while I was dipping down the alley, it was a bunch of cats standing out there on the corner looking down toward everything that was going on. So I said, what happened, man? It's about midnight. He said, man, dude got killed. I'm like, oh, yeah? He said, yeah, man. I said, oh, that's messed up. He said, yeah, man, it was my nephew. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. I feel bad for you, brother. Stay strong. And I dipped off. But it's like the whole time I've been home, I bet I literally saw at least 5 crime scenes. You know, it's like I'm trying to figure out at what point do people lose their humanity to the degree that they are willing to kill the next man and probably over nothing. You got to be a cold-hearted son of a bitch. At the end of the day, these people need psychological help. This is what we talk about when we talk about mental illness. And, I think some people think mental illness looks a certain kind of way. Well, it doesn't. This absolutely requires medical attention. These cats need to get a grip on their life, man. I don't know if they caught the guy that killed him or not, but time I got in the house, my mom was sitting there. She said, I heard the gunshots. And I was like, yeah. She said, yeah, police all out there. But see, this is how we become so desensitized to these things. It's like business as usual. That shit ain't cool. And then all that off, here I am in Chicago, chilling, and I got to keep my head on a swivel the whole time. I got to look over one shoulder for them cats that want to jack and rob. I got to look over my other shoulder for the police. That's Chicago. That's bad. Things need to change. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, y'all. It's crazy out here. But it was a funny little story. And here I was trying to avoid the police. And when I do, I ran into all of them. Now, check this out, y'all. When I talk about my Black Factor family, right? I be talking about y'all who follow me, who watch the show, who listen to the things that I have to say, who get this black media, right? Well, the other day, I missed a great photo opportunity. So I walk in my grandfather's building, go in his spot. He's laying on the bed with his hands up across his chest. He got on a pair of sunglasses, his baseball hat, and a set of headphones. And he's watching the computer. Got a little laptop sitting there. Man, he was watching the Black Factor. Look at here. Y'all, look, I love that. My grandfather is part of the Black Factor family. He follows my show, y'all. That man, 97 years, he'll be 97 on his birthday. He's 96 years old. That's my main man, 50 grand, y'all. I look forward to his next birthday. We're going to celebrate. We're going to see if we can't get him to 100. He move a little slow these days, but he got all his faculties. But I'm going to say this, though. After coming there and taking care of him this week, I realized a few things. Back in the day, my grandfather was a big strapping man. He got hands like mitts. He better not, man. If he put his hands on you, you gonna know, trust me. But he don't move like he used to. He's 97, 96. But it made me start thinking, right? Because I had to help him get his bath, because I had to take him to go get his COVID shot, his first shot. But all of this got me to thinking, I'm gonna have to start working out. I gotta get my muscle mass in check and get myself back together. We all gotta take care of ourselves. We don't know how long we're gonna live. Now, it's to me, and my grandfather told me this too this week. He said, it's crazy because I can't do nothing for myself no more. 96 years old, y'all. Now, the thing about that too is him and my grandmother, who died at 95, the two of them, or was it 94? Anyway, they have outlived all of their siblings, all their brothers and sisters, and they both came from big families. They have outlived all of their friends. So can you imagine being 96 years old and the only people you can talk to or associate with are those that are taking care of you and your family that's around you? Like, you don't get to talk about nothing in common. He don't play his jazz like he used to. And it made me start thinking on the flip side of that whole thing, do I really want to live to be that old? Do we want to be at an age where we're incapacitated? The quality of life gotta suck. It's just something to think about, y'all. But I tell you what, if we keep dancing, get out here and get our step on, if we keep running, get our jog on, we keep doing sit-ups and push-ups, things like that, we can survive this. We'll be okay. And when we check up out of here, We have all our faculties and our strength and our muscles. Because when you don't do nothing, you lose that muscle mass. Which brings me to my story. Get to talking about old times, we get to tripping out, bugging out about all of it. So he say, hey man, I remember you used to do all them flips. You be out here flipping and doing back flips and all that. He said, I bet you one. I told him, man, make it light on yourself. Man, he tossed $10 out the window and said, do it. I dare you. So I did it. And I got that $10. But the beauty in that, and I missed that photo op too, just like I missed the one with my grandfather. See, I should have been taking pictures of my grandfather over there chilling, watching the computer, but I was so excited to see him that I just kind of disturbed him. You know what I'm saying? I should have been taking pictures of him with the screen up and the black factor on. I blew that. Then I blew this other one because when I did this flip, I should have told one of them cats, man, record this, and I didn't. But guess what, y'all? It don't matter because I said several months ago that I was going to start doing this again to get back in shape. Because when you're a gymnast, your core is solid. So I want to get back to that. I'm going to get rid of this playground I got, y'all. I'm going to get fined for this. I'm going to get summertime. I better watch out. Pop, you better watch out now. So, six, like my grandfather, I'll still be 8 or something, you know? Ran into one of my homies. He was like, you know, I stay solid, man. I'm a V. I was like, man, you know what I'm saying? I can't like that. So anyway, you know, we gotta take care of ourselves like that. Uh, 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 get your situation. So got up there today and started with the case. I think they started yesterday. Man, they put this dude up there who's supposed to be an expert. He got towed up trying to say that everything under the sun is the reason why Derek Chauvin didn't kill George Floyd. He had a heart attack because of everything else. They're trying to sow doubt in the minds of the jurors so that they can get out there and get a hung jury. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I don't think it's gonna happen. I believe the jurors ain't stupid. They got one of them bleeding hearts on there that, you know, just don't want to see the man get convicted. Well, that's something else. So check this out. See, that's that white privilege. Now, let me show you something. There's a video on my page, y'all. I'm not in the studio, so I can't do all my visuals like I usually do. You know, I usually show y'all pictures and all kind of stuff. Can't do that today. But there's a video on my page of a police stop. Check it out when you get a chance. White guy get pulled over by the police. Police tell him, get out the car. He told him no. The man said, man, you got a gun right there. Get out. He was like, I'm not getting out. He said, we're going to put the dog on you. He said, I'm going to shoot you. He told the cop, I'm going to shoot your ass. The cop said, you don't want to do that because they had their weapons drawn. He said, listen, you have your guns out. You are violating my constitutional rights. I have the right to have this firearm. What was funny to me was the fact that he was able to even have that dialogue. If he had been black, they'd have blasted his ass. Constitution be damned. Then they put their weapons away and start trying to be reasonable with him, want to talk him down. Okay? Look, man, white folks is getting tired of white folks shit. That's where we going with all of this. We getting to a point where all of the things that are taking place are in the evolution of freedom and justice. It may seem slow, but check this out. While I don't condone looting and rioting because they're opportunists, they're taking advantage of people who are actually out there protesting for the right reason, and they use that as a cover. Listen, in Chicago, everything is boarded up. I mean everything. Every store you go to, they either got the gates down or it's boarded up. So they opportunists. We already talked about that on one of the shows. We talked about infiltrators, agent provocateurs, and opportunists, and regular rioters. All right, because there's a difference between all of those. Now, sometimes people say things like, marching don't matter, rioting ain't gonna get nothing done. Well, while I don't condone it, I disagree. Because apparently, when you hit these people in their pockets, they get it. They figuring it out. Now, it is messed up because the neighborhood loses a lot of, revenue, business, that kind of thing. But at the same time, because of the rioters, which I wish they wouldn't do that, but what we gonna do, right? So the fact is, they actually serve a purpose. That's the crazy part about it. Because when they make people feel it in their pockets, those people begin to change the way they do things. Proof that rioting and marching works. Derek Chauvin is on trial right now for murder. Proof. Kimberly Potter got charged today with second degree manslaughter. And this is the cop who shot Dante Wright, claiming it was an accident because she thought she had her taser. Now let's examine the lie. The lie is, and this is after she resigned, but check this out. Her department said they're not accepting her resignation, which is a good thing because she needs to be held accountable. And that's what I'm getting at. We are finally seeing police officers being held accountable for their actions. What's sad to me is that we have to have video cameras to make it happen. Cameras are everywhere now. You're not going to do nothing without somebody seeing it. But it's a double-edged sword. But the good thing is, to the benefit of George Floyd and his family, we have clear evidence of what took place. So here we are, where Derek Chauvin's qualified immunity got kicked away. He lost his job, and now he's about to be a criminal, a convicted criminal, after that one day at work. See, these are the things that let you know that things are actually changing. Because if they weren't changing, you wouldn't see these officers on trial. They wouldn't be up here getting their time in court. And they didn't waste no time charging old girl. They should have charged her immediately. But let me show you something. That other day we talked about the taser versus the gun. She was carrying a 9mm. Now, a 9mm, fully loaded, is not a lightweight weapon. Now, this is what I found out. Because the other day I mentioned this. Most officers who carry a taser carry it, of course, in a different location than their gun. And they know the difference between the two, aside from the fact that the taser is bright yellow. All right? And you got to use a thumb trigger before you pull the trigger to make it go off, right? So she drew her service weapon, yelled, taser, 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 and pulled the trigger. But check this out. The taser is on her left side. She would have had to withdraw the taser with her left hand, not her right hand. Now, here's the thing. If she was that damn scared, if she was that spooked, she ain't got no business being the police. But to add insult to injury, she's a trainer. This officer trains other officers. What does that tell you, y'all? What does that say about the rest of that department in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota? that they think that dehumanizing people is okay. Because that's exactly what she did. They saw a young black man. First of all, they profiled. It was a traffic stop. Why all the guns? What is that about? See, these are the things we got to start dealing with. And they need to stop that. Jumping out of cars on people with firearms drawn. They're going to keep it up. And pretty soon people going to get tired of getting killed. They're going to become targets. That's, people get mad at me for saying shit like that, but they making their own bed, especially in a place like Chicago where police been getting shot at a lot regularly lately. But you can't treat people like animals and not expect them to retaliate. Just like that white man sitting in his truck while all them officers stood there with their guns telling him to get out. So afraid. Here's a man who legally had the right to carry a firearm, just like Philando Castile, and was murdered. This guy didn't get murdered, of course, because he's white. Philando Castile got murdered under the same circumstances. Nobody said a word. Officers didn't get charged. This is what we tired of. The injustice, the inequality. We tired. So this officer who decided to quit, they haven't accepted her resignation because she's now been charged, and more than likely, the charges will be elevated. But check this out. Here's the real crazy part. I told you she was a trainer, right? She's a 26-year veteran of the police department. 26 years. Now, she resigned. You know what that means? That means by her resigning, she doesn't piss away her pension. That means that if she quit and they didn't fire her, she gonna take early retirement, which means she gonna get all her money after murdering somebody. This is the games they play. This is how she worked. I mean, it was a smart move on her part. I give her credit. Look, don't get me wrong. I ain't gonna hate. I don't hate people who make smart moves. I think it was very brilliant. But all these court cases coming up because we still got the cases of the other 3 officers who were with Derek Chauvin. They're gonna all have to answer for their part in it. Now we're gonna have her trial, and I know there's a couple of others that are coming up. So to say that rioting, marching, and looting don't count, I disagree. Because there was a time you would have never seen these officers get charged with nothing. They might have got a slap on the wrist, but that would have been it. And they would have went on about their business, and that would have been the end of the story, like it was on so many occasions throughout the history of lynching and everything else that went on where black people are concerned, where white people with their privilege and arrogance took advantage. It's like, I got another video on my page. Sorry I can't show y'all the visuals, y'all, because we rolling. Pimp on the move. But this video shows a young man walking through a neighborhood. This big old white boy walks up to him and asks him what he doing around there. Say he ain't never seen him before. He gotta go. What kind of slash militiaman is this? Let me see your papers, nigga. What you doing out here? We gonna hang your ass if you don't get out of here. That's what that amounted to. See, just arrogant. They call the police on him. Ain't did nothing and live in the neighborhood. That's what makes it so bad. He was actually a resident of the damn neighborhood. But that wasn't good enough for them because they just automatically assumed that he was an outsider. That's that arrogance. Tired of it. Speaking of that, when I rented this car to come here, and I'm gonna do a long story about this. I'm just gonna touch on it right now. This Karen at the rental place basically treated me like a fucking second-class citizen. I didn't appreciate it. I'm gonna write a nice long letter to Enterprise Rent-A-Car and put their whole ass on blast. Now I hope, that this don't fall on deaf ears, but we gonna see, because it will be a very nice, nasty letter. Because I don't appreciate the treatment. I could go somewhere else. Real talk. Now, I'm gonna tell you, when I was talking about the police in Chicago, right? I went down 83rd Street, had it taped off. They was out there picking up shell cases. Went in the alley between 79th and Prairie and 79th Calumet. Had it taped off. Crime. Shoot. Went to Walgreens in the middle of the afternoon. Boarded up. No business. Get home the other night, midnight, dude that got murdered from down at the house. Some crazy times we living in, y'all. Okay, some got here though. The time's coming where all of this got to stop. The more we focus on making sure that we people like the Derek Chauvins and Potters of the world, better we gonna be. I hope that all of this sends notice to the people in uniform who have been running around haphazard for all these years doing whatever they felt like doing. And finally, the chickens are coming home to roost. So marching and looting, it does matter. Especially when you got more white folks doing it than you do black people because a black man got shot. Some of them is wearing out more shoe leather than black folks. So props to them. For real, for real. You got to hit them in the pockets, y'all. Now, just so y'all know, I know y'all are responding on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and all of that, but I can't respond to you because I'm on the move. Black Factor on the move, y'all. We going back down to the armpit of Texas, down to San Antonio. I'll be home in about 7 hours because we rolling. That's right. We've been rolling since 9 a.m., 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'll be home by 3 a.m. and I'll be a happy camper. I'll be a real happy camper because I get to sleep in my bed. That's right. Now, it's finally time where these police officers are being held accountable for their shenanigans, right? So up there in Brooklyn Center, Milwaukee, and between that and I keep saying Milwaukee, I mean Minnesota. Between Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, and where they're holding the trial, which is 10 miles apart, they deployed 3,000 National Guard troops. So now we got the military in the street trying to stop the nonsense, trying to stop the shenanigans. They should have had the National Guard out when the fools tried to run up in the Capitol, but that's another story for another day. Y'all already know how that goes. But Dante Wright didn't deserve to die. And what I think he deliberately tried to say was an accident. But I'm sorry, that handgun feels very different than that taser. That taser fires very different than that handgun. That taser is bright yellow. Now, if you got your weapon out in front of you, are you telling me you can't see that you've got the wrong weapon in your hand? Bright yellow is a taser. Aside from, it was in her left, on her left hip, in her holster. But she drew from her right. 26-year veteran police officer, trainer, who made a fatal mistake. And I hope she pays for it. The hell we're trying to say it was an accident. I don't know if she was playing Russian roulette and figured this will work. I can get my retirement now. And they may not charge me if I say it was an accident. I don't know. But the thing is, she had the gun in her right hand. She couldn't even grab the taser with her right hand. She would have had to grab it with her left. But you hold it, a firearm, in your right hand, not knowing that it's not a taser. I'm going to just say it like this. She must have had a real bad day. And now she's getting ready to have a real bad life because her resigning and walking away, that's not going to get it. Aside from which I bet you, well, she's in jail now. She's in Hennepin County jail. But I bet you $100 she going to be real incognito for a long time. She going to be hiding out, y'all, because she going to get harassed. I bet you people been calling her. But as a matter of fact, they got police patrols out in front of her house now to protect her from would-be, I guess, vigilantes, I guess. So I guess they're going to upgrade some of these charges. People get confused about these charges. They want to say things like It should be first, because you can't prove is that look. That's a depraved heart situation. And unless you know something or you have some evidence that points at her deliberately wanting, like say, let's say they go through her computer, confiscate her computers or phones, and it say something on there like in one of them websites or groups, I'm gonna kill me a nigga today. Then they got intent. But right now, they don't have intent. So it has to be manslaughter, especially since we got it on audio that she said, taser, taser, taser. So she could just say, oops, I made a mistake. As fatal as it was, she could still say that and potentially get away with it. That prosecutor laid out a case so thorough that I really don't think that the defense is going to be able to overcome it in the Chauvin trial. They throwing everything but the kitchen sink at the wall just to see what's. They're trying so hard to prove to the jury that there is a reasonable doubt. I'm sorry, y'all, ain't no reasonable doubt. When they opened that trial, and the first thing you saw in the opening arguments was that video, that's gonna stick in their head from now on. All right, y'all, we in Texarkana. We'll be in Texas in a couple of minutes. Back on the block. So, you know, these are the things that we have to pay attention to when we get in our emotions and we want more than we should be able to get. You put a first degree on there, she's not going to get convicted of first degree murder. You want to put a charge on there that you can actually prove. And that was second degree manslaughter, which carries a 10-year sentence. So we'll see. But now that goes back to what the possibilities are when it comes to Derek Chauvin and her when she goes to trial, and the other officers who were there who are also going to go to trial. What kind of time are they going to get? They may get convicted, but are they going to do the time for the crime? I've already said, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Oh, no, no. Don't y'all love my singing skills? I'm bad. I'm bad. So anyway, yo, girl got her hands full, you know? And more than likely, they're going to put at least one more charge on her. That manslaughter is one thing, but I think they're going to bring something else to make sure that's what and they piled the charges. We'll figure it out. Her profiling ways have caught up to her. Her inability to humanize people she deals with. See, this is the reason why I say we need to police our own neighborhoods, and we need to make sure that the officers that are policing our neighborhoods know the community and know the people in it, instead of having some stranger come out of nowhere and everything they know about black people they drew from television or the criminals that they've had to deal with, because everybody black ain't a criminal, and everybody black don't deserve to have a gun pulled on them when they get pulled over. That's insane. But this is the way we get treated, and it has to stop. Police reform is an order, and it must take place. A lot of people are afraid that if police reform kicks in, that somehow or another the police ain't gonna come to their aid. Well, in my opinion, fire all their asses and train some people who want to be the police, because there's plenty of them that's gonna do the job the right way. And make people are human again. Where the people are doing the job of serving and protecting, care about human life, they're gonna get spooked because it's a black man. Not even with a gun, just a black. You know why? Because black skin has been criminalized since the beginning of America. 1619, black people became criminals automatically. It's time for that notion to be ended. It's time to wash that away. No training officer should have the power to train other officers with that bigoted attitude. But I bet they learned the lesson on this one. I bet you they did. I bet you she did. I bet you they did. And I bet you everybody is going to take care of their business out here. Because it's funny to be like, when is the next? Every time one of these shoots happen, I say to myself, do officers wake up in the morning and go, I hope it ain't me this time. I hope I don't make a mistake to go to jail this time. They need to. They need to think about that. Every time they walk out their door to do their job, they need to think about deal with. Regardless if they had tickets, traffic tickets. He lost his life because he was dehumanized. That's cool. But this is what we have to deal with. And it's funny because I was watching a video the other day and there was this white guy out there talking about white privilege. And he said, I don't even know what it's like to have to worry about walking out my door and potentially being killed by police. Here's somebody who's paying attention. He's thinking. He don't want to have to, he doesn't know what it's like to get pulled over and be afraid that an officer's gonna run up with a gun and if he make a wrong move, gonna kill him. He's like, that's like the furthest thing from his mind. But when it comes to us, that's why we have to have that talk with our children. That talk is biblical, it's historical. And we've been getting that talk since slavery. The mothers had to tell their sons, obey master, be good, so he don't whip you and kill you or sell you off. We still are under master's whip. We still being told, stay in line, be a good nigga, so that you don't get in trouble or you don't go to jail or you don't get murdered. All because of arrogance of people who believe that they are more important, that they are better. And that's insane. That's part of the insanity of the PTSD that we deal with. Black folks have been at this for a very long time. We know how to navigate the world. These young ones, they're a little hard-headed. You know, and they end up having problems. But all we can do is try to love on them and keep them on the straight and narrow, keep walking that path. And pray that they don't have to deal with none of this. Like I said, being in Chicago this week, I'm over my shoulder. One shoulder, I'm looking for them cats that's gonna jack me, rob me. On the other shoulder, I'm looking for the police. That's a damn shame when you got to put the police in the same damn barrel with the jackers. This is the world we live in, though, y'all. This is where we at. This is what's happening. You know. So all we can do is continue to try and be the best we could be and live to be like my granddaddy, 96 years old, still got his faculties moving around. One of my most favorite Black Factor family. Boy, I tell you what, it warmed my heart when I walked in there and seen him laying there watching my show. That was a big deal for me. That was a big deal. I love the rest of y'all, but when my granddaddy's sitting there watching me do my shows, that's a huge deal for me. I got mad respect for that man. He did a lot. He did everything for me. Good dude. He's a good person. As long as you didn't do nothing to make him mad. Granddaddy, Papa don't take no mess. Let me tell you, Granddaddy didn't play no games. I tried to get him to come on the show. He said, no, I ain't coming on the show. I ain't gonna talk about nothing. But I took some good pictures of him. But I'm gonna get back home again soon because we got to make sure he getting what he need. And the rest of the family is doing a great job, making sure he have what he need, making everything easy for him. Because my thing is, when you get to be that age, number one, you shouldn't have to rush for nobody. Number two, you earn the right to tell other people what to do. So he tell me to do something, all I got to ask is hi. Say, jump, hi, granddad. Where you want me at? That's what I'm on. I wish that I had been smarter in my younger years and picked my elders for information. I wish I had been thinking about the history and the things that I talk about now. That man's seen everything. 96. Can you imagine all of the different transitions America's gone through and all of the stuff that he knows based on those transitions? All of the times that he may have had to deal with a racist, or deal with discrimination on the job, not get paid the same as the white boy, and so on. because you know it happened. I can't imagine. But it is what it is. Look, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and hanging out with me while we make this trip. We'll be back in San Antonio about 3. This flight will arrive at about 3 a.m. We'll touch down in San Antonio at my residence. I'm going to land right at my residence. And I'm going to go in there and I'm going to sleep like a baby. You heard me. Y'all didn't hear me. Ooh, I'm going to sleep so good. I'll be there. When I get there, I will have been up 24 hours. Because I woke up at 3 and couldn't go back to sleep. But it's all right. Because if it get bad and I can't handle it, oh, I'm going to pull this thing over and get me a nap. Trust it. Trust it. So don't y'all worry about me. I know I can just see it now. I can't look at my phone. I can't look at the responses, but I know y'all gonna say, be careful. Get you some sleep. Pull over and rest. Listen, I'm an old truck driver. I keep the air in my chair. I stay cool on my stool. And I avoid all of these four-wheeling fools. You understand me? I'm a trucker. I'm a trucker, baby. I'm a trucker, baby. I just want you to know. So, hey, this is what I do. I get up under this wheel and I go. And I ain't got to be bothered because DOT can't stop me because I ain't in a big truck. I'm in a car. And trust me, driving this far in a car is a cakewalk compared to driving a big truck this far. Believe me. So I'm good. But I want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning back in because I had to get my little technicals right. This first time we did this, so hopefully I don't have to do no more shows from the road, but this is the inaugural Black Factor on the move. Like my man Pretty Rick used to say, pimp on the move, church on the move. You dig? You dig? Let's not leave out to your digs because he was Mr. You dig, you dig. My man Pretty Ricky over there in the ATL, one of Chicago's finest. So look, y'all, I want everybody to have yourselves a wonderful evening. Y'all will be long asleep before I get home. But I want you to sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. We gonna get up this road and do what we do. So y'all, love, peace, and chicken grease. Now I gotta turn this shit off because I don't know how. All right, y'all.